It is Wednesday, April 22nd. Today we're going to be going over online registration in detail, confirming drivers, duplicate driver profiles, MRP Hard Cards in the app, and MRP Dropship Apparel. At any time, you can hit Alt and H to bring up the chat window. I will be answering any questions that you have through that, so feel free to ask any questions that you may have. Alt and H, the place to do that. If I don't answer right away, that's okay. I will come back to them and answer them when we get to around the end of the presentation. So let's get started. So we have online registration in detail. So to get started with online registration, let's go to season management right here. We're going to make sure that we have all of the configuration set up and ready to go. We do. Make sure that we're in the right year. So we're going to make sure that we have a new season for 2020 if we don't have one already. And all that information is up to date. And all of our classes are added in. That'll be important for when we do the registration. We'll go into registrations. And we'll see that I have a couple already to go. So I have my yearly registration, which you can add right up here. And I have a couple of single event registrations and a general registration. So I'm going to go over these a little bit more in depth, and we can take care of them there. So a yearly registration is going to be for all year for it. So you'd have your drivers register. The ones they'll show up in your entry list, you'll get their information inside of the contact list right here. So their address information. And then what differentiates that from a single event, this is going to be for just one race. So if you think that you're going to have a bigger race where a lot of folks are going to be coming in from out of town, you can do just a single event registration and take care of it all that way. With this, they'll show up in your driver list permanently. With this, they won't. So you won't see them in that big list of drivers, so they'll just show up in the pre-entries for just one race. Is the biggest difference there. To create any of these, we can just click. You can only have one yearly registration, which I've already made, but you can make other event registrations and a general registration. Right here, you can have as many of those as you want. We can make one. So we have an event registration. We can just put in the date. It's going to look for events that are in the future. Put in the title, and then we can put in any fees that we want to here. You don't have to collect fees if you don't want to, but if you do want to collect any fees, so registrations or things like that, you can link that up with PayPal and just let us know. That's free, comes with your account. We can link that up to your PayPal account. You can collect entry fees that way, and especially nowadays with the distancing and things like that, having the ability to collect all of those fees, pit passes, things like that ahead of time is a real benefit, knowing exactly who's going to be there. So you can do that. We can also have a late fee. So we can have a specific late fee if we want, and we can set specific fees for that as well. So we'll click add. It's not going to go live yet. We have to click it active here before it does. We just get a chance to double check everything, see if it looks all right. So we can have our base entry fee here. We can also have an additional price in case each individual class has a specific fee just for them, and we can also do the same for the late fees right here. So as soon as we set that as active and save it, it's live and ready to go. We can share this to our Facebook and Twitter pages right from here. We can go to the online registration itself so we can see what that would look like for a driver. So we can see, since I'm logged in, it has my information set up. So we can register for one of these classes. We can pick a driver. Since these are the drivers that I've claimed, they will need to claim their profile beforehand to do that, which is free and easy to do. They just search for their name up here. After they've claimed their profile, they'll select themselves, and we can hit next. We can import previous data. So instead of me having to fill out the form again, I'll just use his registration information that he used on the 17th. We'll move forward. And we can see more information about it. So it's already filled in all of his information here. He can look over everything. If he needs to add a team owner, he can add a team owner here. Really streamlined a lot of these things for him here. We'll continue. This would be where payment processing would happen if we were to have that. I haven't done that. It's free for him to do, so he can complete any sort of registration that he needs to. So it's complete. It's ready to go. It's going to send him an email now saying that we received his form. We're also able to now go into the webinars here. You can see that we have one pending. It's ready to go. We have his information. We can see that if he had paid through PayPal, we can see that invoice. We can see he registered as a rookie. He has a card already. We can see all that. Now we can confirm him. It's already linked up a competitor for me even too now. So it already knows which profile to use. We're able to put in that car number and we confirm it. And he is registered and he is good to go. He's going to receive an email now saying that we've confirmed his registration. Inside of these, we're also able to export all of them. I'm going to go into here so you can see the bigger list here. But we can actually export all my confirmed drivers that I have for the year and print out all of those or print out all the rookies. And you can see these forms here. Some people use these to get tax information too. So you can set it up so that you receive the tax information. And what some folks do is print these double-sided with a W-9. So to collect that there. We're also, again, able to share this to our social media pages. If this event was to rain out or change, we can also do that now as well. So we can edit the event right up here. We can search for a brand new event. So if I search for a day in May here, I can edit it, and now it's moved to that different date there for me as well. So everyone that did register for the old date has moved over to the new makeup date. So they don't have to do it over again. It's something that we just did here pretty recently for a single event registration. So did that, did confirming drivers. So a lot of this, since you are, the driver profile is already linked up for you, it's already picked out the one that you're using. Because they've used the one that they've claimed. But let's say you notice that you have two of the same profile inside of the system, either through just looking them up in the entries or where have you. There's a specific way we'd like you to report those. If you could just send them to support@myracepass.com. I'm going to put that into the chat. And then what I'd like you to do, if you could, this would be the best way to do it. So I have a driver here. So we're going to look for, so we have these two. We have Charles and we have Chuck. Both of them here, Charles and Chuck, they are the same person. What I'd want you to do is just email me both of these links here. Just find them in My Race Pass and email the email that I gave you, the support of My Race Pass, with the good one, and just list out which one you think is good and list out which one you think is bad. So in this case, the good one is going to be Chuck. That's just what he goes by. He's claimed this profile. So this would be the good version of it. And then what we can do, I can take that and fix it. So take all the results and put them where they need to be. But sending those links over will make sure that I get it done a lot quicker. than any other way. Lets me know exactly which driver I'm looking for. And then from there, I can go through and fix all the events pretty quickly. So make sure you do that. Some steps to avoid duplicate drivers. For one, making sure that your drivers do register ahead of time will prevent those. It'll make sure that since they're claiming their profile, it'll go a lot easier since they'll have that. And also since they're claiming their profile, inside of the entry list here, they all have their own hard card. So you can scan that barcode right there from the app. So inside of the My Race Pass app, encourage you to take a look there. You can download that and click on the menu to the top left of the screen, and you'll be able to see there down if you scroll down, MRP cards. If you've claimed a driver profile, you can actually see that specific card. It's free for those drivers to do that, to put in those cards there, and then you can scan this. You can even type in the number if you wanted to up here, and that'll pull up the correct profile every single time. So that's the main way that I'd recommend doing, is either having the hard cards, and I know some of you have sanctions that use My Race Pass. Those sanctions will issue cards for those drivers automatically as part of their for the year. You use the cards, not only will it be faster to search for them, but it'll just makes life a lot easier, to be honest. If you do have to create a driver, so if you absolutely positively have to, please make sure you're searching here. I recommend searching last name first, and then also making sure you double check. If a driver has to change their hometown, we can change a hometown. That's no big deal. But just make sure, say he moved, he used to live in Lincoln, now he lives in Omaha. You wouldn't create a new driver for that. We just update the profile there. There's places for them to do that where they can claim their profile and do that on their own. You actually are able to request that update as well. If you go into Manage Drivers and click on the driver that wants to be updated, so let's say it's BJ Buffalo Esquire, you can click on him and go to this name/city change, put in a new city and send it. I receive those and I go through them every day for those as well. So make sure you're doing that instead of creating a new driver, especially if it's a place where they used to live or a place that was close. Really don't want to create new drivers unless we have to. And again, make sure you're checking for name variations and things like that. So those profiles, there's a couple places you can see them, but it's always going to be under Settings and Manage Drivers is the full list of your driver profiles. This is actually all the same driver, just in each class. So this is how each class knows what default car he has and its default transponder in each class. But my guys are all race multiple things at the same time. They're real overachievers. But you're actually able to find it there. We can also search for them here. I set drivers as active or inactive in here as well. But that's a great question. If you have other questions you'd like to ask, do you have a couple there? I can answer those. Alt and H is the place to do it. That's the chat window. I'm going to be answering all of the questions that you have about that. Before we go on to Dropship Apparel, which is the next topic that we're going to be doing, I want to just say that we also have all of the past webinars on our YouTube page. You can find that at myracepass.com/YouTube. You can find those and the help articles right here. Help videos will be right here, and also all the help articles, which we've been working really hard, making sure we have more in-depth health articles to go over some of the different things we have here. We're also going to be having more webinars Tuesday, April 28th. We're going to be going over a full race night, entry list, lineups, MRP Live with both Westhold and MyLaps, and then everything that goes along with that. And then Thursday the 30th, we're also going to be going over MRP Live troubleshooting, more online registration, duplicate drivers, rainouts and cancellations, push notifications, and much more for questions. So um, those will all be at the same time at 7 p.m. time, Tuesday and Thursday, going over quite a bit of stuff here. So I'm going to go into the apparel program. Some of you I know have it already, and that's great. Others of you don't, maybe haven't heard of it before, but essentially it's a great way, especially now with things not being open due to the COVID-19, to make sure fans, have a way to support your track, support what you're doing. So inside of the website, you can see a little bit more about it. So go to our apparel here. So you can kind of get a better visual of what we're doing. So we have a couple different options here, level 1 and a level 2 shirt. We do the design on those. So you can get the design on those shirts. We put that up on the marketplace for you. Each track would have their own store on the marketplace. You can set the prices on each item, and then you make the profit on each item sold. And you get a lot more than just a t-shirt. You get hoodies, long sleeve shirts, women's tank top, women's apparel. A lot of different items will be in there. So a lot of cool things going on here. I'll actually show you here for so I'll just pick one at the top here. A lot of different color options, a lot of different different items available here. Canvas, t-shirt, for example, all different size options. We create these as they are ordered too. So you don't have to worry about merchandising or holding on to anything there. We create them as they are ordered. So just pay for that design. In fact, we sent an email out offering that level 1 design for you. If you haven't seen that, it's part of everything, just to help out. So you can take advantage of that. Feel free to. We just need a form from you to let us know where you'd want funds to be deposited. But you can sell these anytime. We will be making them. So that is an option that you have here, along with especially now these days, everything's gotten a little bit more complicated than usual. Having another way to sell shirts without actually being there is a big benefit, especially with things like registrations. If you have to work with the government telling you can only have so many people, you can use this and just accept the first however many people that registered. And then if you're collecting funds, just refund those funds to the people that didn't make the cut. So you actually have a lot more leeway there with accepting however many drivers. You'll know exactly in advance who is registered for the night. If you did a single event registration, you can make sure that you don't have to accept any cash, since all of that would be done ahead of time. Really making sure even your track workers would be, more safe, because they wouldn't have to directly be face to face with somebody. So you can still, keep everybody, government agencies, those folks happy, while also keeping people apart there. A lot of things there that we can also do as well, including online tickets. That works too. I know we have a big race coming up. You can see that on the app. That they sold all of their tickets that they sold were all online, all 700 of them. So you can make sure that you limit exactly how many people ahead of time, and then you don't have to deal with any direct cash because I don't know about you, but I don't directly go to the racetrack after just going to the bank and getting fresh 20s. You know, I get them from the grocery store, and you know, who knows how many people handled it before that guy did. You know, so you can cut down on taking cash in person. Do a lot more things in that way. Um, IMCA, I got a question here about the hard cards. IMCA does not issue the hard cards themselves. They aren't using us for sanction management this year. Um, some IMCA drivers might have cards already from racing at other tracks. We did issue some of those. Those cards work exactly the same as the phone. We just found though that drivers were a lot less prone to lose their phone than they were to lose a card. Um, so that's why I switched to that. We do have the card still as an option, but IMCA doesn't. WSOTA and USRA, though, they both do as part of the licensing. So as part of their license, they get a card. If they need a new one, they'll update those. So you just have that one card there. They'd only need the one as well. If they have a card, they can also have the phone and vice versa. But you'd only have that one card per profile. Which is really nice. Helps stop a lot of duplication. It also moves things really quick. I know I've worked at a race that had a lot of drivers. I believe it was 500. We issued cards to every one of those drivers. We got them in and out of there in an hour. You know, if all the drivers would have shown up exactly when the gates opened, which I know is asking a lot, but had they done so, we could have got them in and out way faster. Just them scanning, and then good to go. If a driver had a card and moved to IMCA, how do I link the card? You don't have to. They can race whatever they'd like. Their card is linked to themselves. They only need the one, and it's good to go. So it doesn't matter who's issued the card or for what purpose. Their card works wherever they race, whatever they want to race. So a driver would only need the same one. So, you know, if you had a driver who was, let's say they started young and started with QMA and they had a card or a profile that they had with that, they'd use that same card all the way through. They wouldn't need a new one. No linking required. It works for, they could go race a IMCA car and then the next night go race a WSOTA car and the next night go race a completely different thing somewhere else. They only need the one. But those are great questions. If you have other questions, Alt and H is the place to do it. What kind of scanner do I use? The scanner we recommend one that is here in the sport. You can actually find a link to it on Amazon. We actually just look for scanner. But really any scanner that can hook up to a computer will work. So we have a couple here. I like this one. This guy right here, it scans phones. It scans things really quick. I've used this one directly, but you can use other scanners too. There's more than one way to do it. That's just one that we've worked with directly. And again, you can find it on the Amazon link right here. I can actually just copy this here. And I'm going to paste that inside of the chat if you're interested. There's, like I said, a lot of other scanners you can use. Just make sure it's one that can scan smartphones, things like that. So I had a question about the shirts. How do you get into design for the shirts exactly, logos? So if you agree to do a shirt, we'll send you over the information as to what exactly we would need from you. So on top of that form that we need to know where the bank account located, things like that. If there's any sponsored logos that you'd want us to add onto there, or your logo, different things like that, you just give us those in a .ai or .eps file. Your Print companies, if you work with any print companies, we'll know exactly what those are. Those are vector files. And we'll ask for any other things that you'd need there. So if there's a specific, some of the shirts make reference or would say something like Saturday Night Thunder, things like that. If you race on Fridays, just let us know. We can switch that over. We'll make it more akin to what you guys are doing. So let's actually go back to that. Here, I'll just, so for something like this, this shirt here, they sent us the logo. We actually had this. This was one of the level 1 designs there. So depending on which one you have, you can do that. You can also put your website, any social media links that you want us to use, we can put that on there. Whatever you'd like to do for there, we can do that. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, just something that you have that you're able to use. Just reach out to us and we can get you rolling with that. It's just a really easy way so you can share this out, promote it, so people can, have something to support the track, and they can order that wherever they are. So, a great question. Other questions? Alt and H again, the place to ask those. Again, any question you want, doesn't necessarily have to be anything we've gone over so far. If you have a specific thing you want to ask, now is the time to do it. And again, feel free next Tuesday, the 28th, and then this upcoming, the 30th, the one right after, more webinars are going to be happening. So we're going to go over a lot of different things there. So, be on the lookout for that. And also, in case you don't want to ask a question out in the public, that's fine too. You'll notice that if you hit the Alt and H, that chat, you can see there's a to button, and one will say everyone, but you can also send a message to me directly. And if you do that, I won't put you on blast or anything. I will keep you. I will answer your question, but I won't say exactly who it's for. So you can ask about that there. So what about stock we already have? Can it be sold on the marketplace? You can't do it there, but if you have a website through us already, we can link up a PayPal account to it and get you set up with an online store to your existing marketplace or your existing website if you have one of those. There's an add-on cost for PayPal for the year. We can get you going on that too. So you can sell that. That one wouldn't be as automatic since you'd have to set it up a couple different ways with shipping and things like that, but we do have that option available if you do want to go that route. Okay, I got a question here about how the draw works. The difference in using auto draw and if you're letting drivers pull chips. Okay, so we'll just go into a race here. And I'll explain some of the different ones here. So this is the settings here for pill draw. So the first one is pretty straightforward, no pill draw. If you're not using pill draw, you use this. This is the fast way. So this is going to pick a random number without the drivers doing anything. So they can hit a button or they don't hit a button. It's just going to use it. So a lot of the times when I do these webinars, I just have the drivers draw without them doing anything just because it's faster. It's the fastest way by far. You can also, the auto draw here before driver selection, we will draw, you would hit a button, the driver can click or do something, and it'll basically just hit stop. It'll draw a number for that driver, and then you pick a driver. So you can do it that way. So that's perfectly fine too. This is going to be before you pick a driver at all, so it's just going to be a random number, and then you assign it to a driver. At check-in manual entry, this would be if you were doing, if you were just had a bag of poker chips, bingo balls, whatever the case may be. You could put that in there, and you would just type in the number that they drew. If you want to do that, you certainly can. It's going to be a little slower than the automated option, but that's why we have it there. It's for you to use. This one right here, after check-in, auto draw. So we check a driver in, we look over all of his information, and after we check him in, a box will appear to pull up the pill number, and then we can draw. These are very similar, but this is before we pick a driver, and this is after we pick a driver. And this one right here is after check-in manual entry, so this would be the same kind of thing. So after we picked a driver, we'll have a box there. Yep. So you do that as well. So you can have that box and then put in what they drew. I'd use something like this if you, for whatever reason, if you had all the drivers draw away from here, I would just use this to do it faster. But I don't see this one used as much. Honestly, I would say your best bet is the fast check-in process, or to do the as soon as you pick a driver. And yep, as Gabe mentioned, you can actually have them scan the card, and as you scan them, it'll actually, that activates it and draws the number. So it works out pretty well. A lot of different options there. All of these are going to do random random numbers for you. So yeah, but if you want to see it, so let's do the before. So it's going to have me draw a number, and then you draw, and then you'd pick if you don't misclick like I did. So in that case, we drew a 38, so we'd keep that 38 there because he still drew it. And we give him his number, and he's good to go. Also, something that just came up, if you created a driver within the past 24 hours, and let's say you, excuse me, let's say for whatever reason you just misspelled his last name, but you actually already created the driver, you can hit this edit name and city if it's within a 24 hours, and you can edit the name or the locations here. So you can fix any spelling mistakes, anything like that. So make sure you do that. You have a time limit on it. You can't do that forever, but you are able to do the edit. I believe the edit would just put in the request right here. So you can make a request to change it. Is there still a sandbox we can use to try things? Yes, very much so. You can actually find that up here. So this is the main dashboard where you'd be when you've logged in. We'll scroll down. And then right down here is the sandbox. You can open that. It is offline from 1 a.m. Central Time to 9 a.m. Central Time, but you know, so you can't be too late, but you still are able to test things out in here. And I actually highly recommend that. One of the fun things too I'd recommend when you're using the sandbox, it's very helpful to go over information from the past if you have it. That allows you to kind of take a look at things and make sure you're looking at it from a good mindset. Also, you can think about, well, hey, on this day, this guy did this thing. How would I do that in the system? And it gets you kind of thinking about that and what you would do or how you would handle specific situations. Because I can tell you things all day, but there's always going to be things that come up that may not come up in a real race that may not happen here, but that allows you to either reach out to us and be happy to explain how this would work for you and what you need to do, or we can you can kind of work out how to do it and kind of a less stressful environment than a real race would be. So you'd have that option there for you. So a lot of things there. So I did see we have some people show up late. I'm going to go over online registration one more time for you, just so that you can do that. If you watched it the first time and you have any questions about it, feel free. You can ask me questions. Make sure keep me on my toes, keep me honest. I appreciate those things. But so here's the online registration. I found it in season management registrations. You're going to make sure that you have all of your information filled out, all the config information here. Make sure you have your season put in too. I found that works out really well to just put these in first, to put in your events and then put in your registration. Especially for single events, you're going to need a season to do a single event registration. But once you do, you'll have your registration page here. You can add a registration. There's 3 different kinds of registrations that you can add. So these are yearly registrations. You can only have one of those, but this is going to be your yearly track registration. So, you know, they would register for this for the year. All of these drivers would go into your driver list, and all the information that you'd get from these drivers goes into the contact list, which you can use for different things. If you print checks, the contact list will put the addresses in on those checks for you without you having to do anything. So that's really cool. You can also export that. I know people use that for mailing labels. You can actually print mailing labels now inside the check area, or you can print them inside the contact list. So people do that. You can export that into Excel. You can do a lot of cool things with that if you would need to. You also can do a single event registration. So if we were to create one, that's going to be for just one event. It's not going to add your drivers to the driver list for the whole year. The idea behind that is that you'd be expecting that these drivers are just going to show up for the one race. You're going to have more drivers than you usually have, sort of for a special event. Though now I've noticed some tracks using this to kind of help enforce social distancing by opening this up, collecting any funds, because you can link these up to PayPal. To do that, just let us know. We'll link it up for you. That's free for you to do. Just let us know the email that's associated with your PayPal account. We'll get it set up. But you can put in entry fees here, late fees, different things like that. When you do that, it'll take you into this page where you can put in additional pricing. So the way it works is that you can have one base entry fee. So let's say it's $30, but I really don't like my enduro guys, so they have to pay an extra $30. So it's $30 here, and we can put $30 here. So it'd be $60 if you registered for an enduro. You also could put in late fees, and additional late fees. If you really want to penalize somebody, you certainly can, and tell them to get up on their game. But the main thing, once you look over everything, you just make sure that it's active. And once it's active, that is live. You can actually view it down here at the bottom. You're also able to share it to Facebook and Twitter. I highly recommend, if you have a registration, sharing it out. It's also able to be found on the website. So if you go to myracepass.com, let's just do that real quick. You can actually see this here. There we go. That all my registrations will be down here, and you can register for the year here. Let's close these extra tabs. We don't need them. You can view a registration inside of here. And when you do that, you can see that you have your drivers, the classes here. And then I'm also registered for a whole bunch of drivers. So you can actually register them here like that. Or we can register a new one. So if we have a new competitor, it'll have me do that. I don't want to do that right now though. Let's just do Kale Trickle, import him over. And then again, like I've mentioned before, you can actually copy registrations that you've done in the past as a driver. So if a driver registers for, let's say registers for a sanction to get a license, with SOTA or USRA, he can actually use all that same information again to register for each individual track he's with. And you can actually see this here. All of his information is going to pull over. Everything's going to be good. We'll continue there, and then confirm his registration. So we could pay from there if he needed to. Since there wasn't any payment, it just kind of skipped that. But it also accept any payments or different things like that. But that's it's kind of a big deal there. You can, like I said, use it to register for a single event, and then collect funds, collect payments, pit passes, different things like that. Use that through PayPal, and then if you can only accept however many drivers, you can do that there. Again, Alt and H is the place to ask any questions. I see some people asking some questions there. Kurt, it's okay. Congratulations on your feature win. Don't hit it too hard on the beers though. It is a Wednesday. It is a school night, or at least. So where do the registrations show up on the website if you set one up and click and enter? So if you have a website through MyRacePass, you can actually get it on a specific spot. That's going to vary depending on the website that you have through us. I believe you have one as well, so we can work that out specifically. On the MyRacePass website, you can have a registration. It'll show up on the profiles. So if you just search for the profile on MyRacePass, it'll show up in the corner. We're actually going to be doing some exciting things with these profiles here in the near future. So these will be a little bit more prominent, kind of spoilers. Let's just keep that between me and my 28 new friends. But yeah, it'll be right here. If you have a website through us, it will show up. Generally, we make that pretty prominent. It depends on your specific layout if you have a website through us. And if you're interested in getting a website through us, let us know. We have a lot of cool options, cool things that we do. I know some of you do have a website, and I appreciate you having one there. And again, the share button's right here, so make sure you share that to social media. The more that you share, the better there. The more drivers and everyone knows about it, the better. And then once a driver has finished a registration, so let's complete another one here. Oh, use this here. Good old Matt Murdoch. He's a real daredevil. Okay. So we're going to refresh it. We're going to see that we have a wing sprint here. And we're able to confirm this. Since he's already claimed his profile, he's actually able to, it'll lock in one already for us. So that claimed profile will make sure that we're not creating any drivers or anybody we don't need to create. And then we can link this up with his team. He has a team in the system already. And we can link up his car number, confirm it, and all of his information is good to go and ready to roll. So yeah, just let me know if you have any questions. Alt and H is the place to do that. I'll be answering questions. Going to leave it open to those for the next few minutes, for as long as folks have questions. While I take a quick drink here. And a question about yearly registration, if it could be used for pit crew memberships. Honestly, I'd use a pit crew membership as a general registration. So that's this one down here. You can actually have, it's a much more simple form. Excuse me. But it would just be the name information, different information here. And you can use that for anything. That's not necessarily for a driver. I've seen this used for pit crew registration. I've seen it used for a lot of different things. But for any of these, like single event or yearly registration, I'd use those more for a driver, like a driver registration. That was a good question. And Alt and H, the place to ask any questions. I'll also take the time to mention that there is another webinar on Tuesday, and then Thursday, April 30th. So on Tuesday, we're going to be going over to a complete race night that includes building your entry lists, sanction-specific lineups, and I might even do some other lineups if we have some requests. Wink, wink. Using MRP Live, Westhold and MyLapse integration, results, points, and payouts, and then on Thursday the 30th, 7 p.m., we're going to be doing MRP Live troubleshooting, Westhold integration, and MyLapse integration, more online registration, what to do if you have duplicate driver profiles, rainouts and cancellations, push notifications, how those work, and then questions. That's 3 times the questions. That means we're serious about questions. So, all right. So let me know if you have any questions. Again, I'm going to take a real quick drink here. I'll leave it open for as long as there are questions. So if this can go, it's up to y'all. And don't be afraid to ask anything specifically to me. Like I said, you have that option there to ask me directly a question. So feel free to do that. All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to speak with me today. This video, as well as all of the other videos, will be on our YouTube channel. Again, you can find that at myracepass.com/YouTube. Nope, I don't need the track name and info. You can provide it to me if you'd like, I suppose, but we don't actually need it specifically. And again, feel free to go to the webinars. They'll be next Tuesday and next Thursday. If you have any questions, support at myracepass.com. Also, happy to answer any questions there and visit the support articles. All good things to do. Y'all have a great rest of the night. It's been great talking to you.